I don't think any country has ever made a profit from an Olympics.
And he did his little job, and I was like, oh my, what the hell is this? The Snoop Dogg an athlete now?
People didn't read the article, they just shared the headline. It was definitely French.
Oh Lord have mercy.
Welcome to what is soon to be your mom's favorite podcast. I'm joined with Venzel, and we are here to have a great chat about dad life and life in general. Venzel, how are you doing today, brother?
Oh, Terrence, thank you very much. Good to see you again, buddy. I'm doing well, battling with a bit of that old man flu, but we carry on.
Oh, it's tough, eh? Man flu is the worst.
Absolutely.
So, Venzel, this is episode 1 of our podcast, right? And because it's episode 1, we are in need, desperate need, of a logo. So I'm going to present you with a couple options. Now, I'll let you know that I am happy with every option here. So whichever one you choose is going to be the logo for the channel.
Okay, no
No
pressure.
pressure. no,
No
no
pressure, no
pressure.
pressure.
Okay, so let me share my screen, and everyone at home watching can also give their thoughts in the comments what they think about the logos.
Yo,
Um,
just roast us. It's okay. We're big boys. We can take it.
okay, can you see that?
Choose the logo.
Right. And give me your opinion, okay? Your honest thoughts. Don't lie to me. Option number 1. Your
A little bit,
silence is deafening.
little bit generic-y with the mark, but
Exactly,
it's a
yes.
start. Let's see where it's going.
Okay, cool. Yeah, what I was going for is because we are essentially dads, and that's referred to as old. I was going for an old style. But
Well,
moving on.
then it suits your train of thought.
Exactly. Moving on to option number 2, which I really enjoy, but it's up to you, of course.
Preferring option one so far.
Okay, why don't you
Also
like option
because
2?
screw South America. No one's even there.
Okay, you're not gonna like option 3 then.
Oh no.
It's because the only images I could find of the Earth were of the Americas, so that's why. Um,
Oh, and that generic uh,
exactly. So that's why it ended up in that spot.
unlicensed.
But maybe we can visit Brazil one day in the future.
Oh yeah.
Option 3.
No,
I know we're not
n-
in Canada.
not even despite the Canada fact. No,
Okay,
flat out no.
right. Okay, so I see where your train of thought is going. Okay. Option number 4. It's a little bit futuristic.
That's I like it. Kind of throws back to the good old days of uh, shall we not mention, but the good old days. Let's just leave it at that.
We can leave it at
But yeah,
that.
no, that's up there. That's on top two so far.
Okay, so yeah, that's all.
Oh, is that all?
I do have a day job. I can't spend time making logos, but okay. So with your the kind of thing that you seem to be liking, obviously, is the neon, which makes sense. It's we grew up with neon. This was our life essentially.
This
So
was
I'm
definitely
also
our
happy
gap
with that
year.
one. This one, obviously, no. This one you didn't like because of the location.
Yeah, I didn't like the location.
Okay. And if I had to change this to a map of Africa,
Nah, I still don't think I'd fall for that one. I much prefer the neon with the globe and the mark,
okay.
and then the first option with the mark. I mean, it's a little podcast about having a chat, so I think having a mark in it, as generic as it may be, is amped for the situation.
Okay. Well, there you go. There you have it. And now we can have a party. Woo!
Okay, one day I'll have the lights too. Not yet though.
Okay, cool. So we have officially chosen a logo to go up on our channel. Now, I want you to picture this on hats, on t shirts, on posters, on billboards. When we go on our world tour, it might change
I
over
could see
time.
it on a hat. I could see it on
I
a
can
hat.
see it. I can definitely see it on a hat. Yeah. Merch link in the description. Everyone at home. Okay. Cool. So we have officially chosen a logo, and that makes us official now as well.
Yeah, we're
Now,
famous now, completely.
now we're famous. Yeah, we literally we can't lose from this point.
Onwards and upwards.
Now it seems to me like you have a question for me here on our next point.
So,
Would you like to
of course I
explain that a
do,
little further?
because I would like a little bit further explanation. I'll admit, not the biggest in following podcasts or blogs or vlogs or anything like that. So maybe just help me out here with explaining a little bit better exactly what is this craze of podcasting and blogging and that sort of thing. Because it's never necessarily been my style or something I've really necessarily paid much attention to. So maybe just give me a bit more information on that so we can at least I know which way I should be going with it.
Right. Okay. Well, let me give you an analogy that might help. Okay. If you let would you play the lotto quite often? Maybe once a month? Have you ever bought a lotto ticket?
Once a week,
Okay, okay. Now, how many lotto tickets would you buy if they were free?
all of them.
Exactly. Now, posting on social media, okay, is an opportunity for something to go viral and for your life to change. So by not posting, you are not buying that lotto ticket. By posting, which is free, you're buying that potential lotto ticket. Now, podcasting is the biggest craze because just as we're doing now, you can just sit down and have a chat and then edit it together at a later stage. You don't have to plan like they do with videos on YouTube, where you have to plan out a script and everything. So that podcasting has blown up because of the ease of it. It's quite easy to do, and people like to speak. People like to yap. All they do is just yap, yap. So they decide to record themselves, which is essentially what we are doing. And I have no problem with it. And clearly you don't either because you are here. So,
Definitely not. I mean, it makes sense to me. I mean, why not take the opportunity and go for the chance to make a bit of money off of talking smack? I mean,
exactly.
we
We could
talk
say
smack
something
anyway.
today. We could say something today that is so funny that suddenly we have people following us on Instagram and brands are wanting to work with us. You must have seen what was her name? Haley Welch, that Hawk Tour girl.
Oh Lord, have mercy.
Imagine two words changing your life like that. So that's essentially what we're doing here. And I assume that's what everyone else is trying to do as well. If they say they're trying to change the world, they're probably lying.
No, they're not lying. They're just trying to change their world.
Oh, that is so smart.
Exactly.
See,
Got
now
to
that
got to
is
scale it
dad
down.
wisdom. That is dad wisdom
Exactly.
right there.
Got to pay for those nappies, guy. Got to
Oh,
pay for those nappies.
yeah. Okay, so yeah, now blogging, which is writing articles on websites. Now, how does that play into the whole thing? When you run a website, you can put ads on your website. Okay. You need the cheapest form of ad revenue that you can get is from Google AdSense. So you can, when you go to a website, they have the block at the
Oh,
bottom or on the columns on the side. Those are typically ad placements. So when you build out your website, you can put those placements on your website. To qualify, you need 1,000 views per month on your website. So 1,000 visitors to your website. Um, and to get paid like good money, you got to get upwards of 50,000 per month. Okay. So, how do people get people to come to their website and continue to come back to their website? Because if you sell shoes and I go to your website and I buy shoes, I'm not going to buy for another couple of months, maybe even a
Yeah,
year,
yeah,
right?
makes
Especially if
sense.
your shoes are quite good. So, how do I get people to come back to the site so that my ads can make money? Well, I write a blog and I upload a blog every day or every week so that someone, whatever who enjoys my brand, can then log on and read the article. And when they log on and read the article, they see the ad and then you get paid from that. So
Okay, now that makes a lot of sense, and I mean that does kind of tie in with what you do for a living, somewhat ads and marketing. So
I do, yeah. So from for the viewers at home, I do digital marketing. And I actually have a channel, a YouTube channel on digital marketing, which you can find in the link in the description below. Um, but yeah, marketing on Google Ads mainly at the moment. In a previous role, I've also did Facebook, TikTok, and so on. So I've kind of specialized very recently, and it's going well. Uh, Started a new job with a company where people are all the same age, which is a crazy thought to me. Yeah, there's two
wow,
owners that are actually a year younger than me,
imagine
but
that.
it's weird to think about, but it's actually nice because you can relate to them. They understand the jokes, the humor of the same generation. At my previous role, the owners were a bit older, so they would make jokes from their generation, which didn't really relate with their employees. So yeah, it was a bit of a disconnect. Whereas now the new place, it seems to be going well. Actually, um, we'll see. We'll see in a couple months if I still feel that way. But definitely at the moment, I'm a lot happier at this place.
Yeah, I think that's always important. I think so. Then for those at home as well, I'm a dietitian, qualified dietitian, but I haven't been practicing in that because it's a bit of a, how do I say, bit of a dead end in the country at the moment, where you either need to start your own practice and be very much a social media influencer to gain traction and gain constant new customers, or you get a nice cozy government position, but those don't exist at the moment, at least not any new ones. And so I got into the medical ripping side of things and joined a company. Technically, it's half South African, half Swiss, but we won't go too much into that. But also a similar situation where it's a company that hires mostly rookies for various reasons. Being a smaller company, I think it makes it a
Cheap
bit
labor.
more cheap labor for them. But it also gives us as rookies an opportunity to grow and to get those mileages as we all sit in that struggle where it's a entry level position, but you need 5 years experience. It's not really an entry level position now, is it?
Yeah.
But so that's where this company is quite nice, is they give us beginner reps, medical reps, a bit of an opportunity to grow ourselves and get that rookie badge ticked off, so you can march on to
In
bigger
the
and better things.
in the pharmaceutical world, is it, especially at your company now, the stuff you're selling, does it actually help people or does it just treat symptoms?
So what well, on my specific portfolio, so we do a lot of stuff in the company. I mean, so a lot of stuff is actually old stuff that's been, it's old, it's tried, it's true. There's a million generics for it now, but then our company's bought out a bunch of the originators, so that we still own kind of the main ingredient, if I could put it that way, or it's licensed to us. So that's the one thing they do a lot of. But my portfolio specifically is very specific to monitoring blood glucose levels. I very specifically do a type of machine, but we won't say what. You know, I don't get in trouble for that. Go my brand. But yeah, so it's mostly for monitoring your blood sugar levels, and it is quite an advanced machine. It is from a brand that's very specialized in that field as well. So it's a great tool, but at the end of the day, you can be given the best tools in the world, but if you're not going to use them or use them in the correct way, you might as well not have them. So it's something that's even as a dietitian you battle with a lot with your diabetic patients is just compliance. Again, you can give them all the tools, you can tell them all about the nutrition changes they need to make, the dietary changes, the types of medication and how they can interact with certain things, their physical activity changes, and if it goes in one ear and comes out the other, I mean, you haven't really made any impact. So I guess that's also part of it, is making it engaging enough that they
Oh,
hold on to
right.
that information. But as engaging as it can be, if no one wants to make the change, no one's gonna make the change. So that's always a
And
big struggle.
remind me, which diabetes is curable, if any?
So not,
Top
and there's also
top
all kinds of
two.
rumors here. Hey, there's some hot topics here now. There's supposedly some cure in China. Some conspiracies going around that China's got a cure for type 1 diabetes. So type 1 diabetes is your genetic factor. It's one where you'll get picked up usually very early in life, usually in your teenage years. Some people even in their 20s, some people even a little bit later, and then we call that late onset type 1. And then your other basic is your type 2 diabetes. So that's more one that's still genetically linked. So it can still be influenced by familial history, but it's also that's the one that's a bit more curable, where it's a lot more due to your lifestyle changes, your type of diet that you're having. So generally, if you're very overweight, you don't
Okay.
exercise, you become more prone to being insulin resistant. Then once your insulin resistance gets too high, you become type 2 diabetic. I mean, this is not a very basic definition of it, but then
Education for me and the viewers.
the easiest way to describe your diabetes is with a lock and key. I know it's a big term that everybody uses, your nurses, your doctors, everyone uses it, where it's with diabetes, you've got a key and you've got a lock. The lock is to a storage room where the sugar needs to go. With diabetes, your keys are no longer opening all your locks. So the sugar's staying in the blood, going to places in higher concentrations than it needs to, causing damage everywhere. So that's kind of the very, very, very basic rundown of what diabetes is. Again, don't use this to quote any of your journal articles, young first years. You will fail, but at least it gives the general public a good idea of just the very basic grassroots of what diabetes is.
Okay. Well, thank you for that lesson. At least
Lecture
now,
one.
yeah. I mean, always understood how type two works in the fact that um, you become insulin resistant. I've always understood that. Type one, I had no idea what that was. I just knew that was the bad one. Um, but okay, cool. Now, you talking a lot about your company. While we're on that topic, okay, uh, you've recently become a new father. So well done to you. Well done.
Thank you,
Congratulations
thank
to
you.
you and to your missus. Um, but before then, you were very sport orientated, whether it be cricket, hockey. I believe you're playing paddle now as well,
Oh, yes.
and
Joining
fishing.
joining the craze, joining the craze.
How would you handle, and currently over these last couple of weeks, how have you handled work-life balance, especially now that you have an extra responsibility?
Oh, I gotta tell you that has been a hell of a struggle. So yes, still kind of gave up cricket. Actually, not too long after you left for overseas, going to Ireland. Fun fact, viewers, he's in Ireland. I'm in South Africa. Holy cow! But yeah, so I stopped cricket pretty much then, just because it just takes up a little bit too much time on the weekend. I
Mm.
wasn't pursuing it for any professional reasons. So as much as we were at probably two steps away from being something a bit more significant, like playing at the Dolphins or at a big franchise level. I mean, we played with most of the guys. I mean, who's some of the more recent ones? I mean, Marcus Ackerman, who's playing at the Dolphins, played his first couple games when he moved to Durban from Joburg. Whole bunch of guys. I mean, played through school. I think that's also a weird thing with being our ages. You see, a bunch of guys we played at school with are still playing it professionally. I mean, I played back in Michaelmas when Quinton de Kock was still there. Keaton
Mm.
Jennings, who's playing in England. Those kind of oaks playing them at
Yeah,
school
and now
level.
all of the most of the South African side is younger than us, so it's quite heartbreaking.
It's such a weird dynamic. It's like it's a really slap in the face about us getting over the 30 mark, where all of a
Yeah.
sudden you went from everyone being your age and you being envious to now everyone being younger, and now you're like, oh shit, what have I done?
I
But
lost out.
that's the cricket side of things. The hockey side, I still play hockey. Haven't actually played this most recent season because, again, as you mentioned, I just had my first little daughter, and chose not to play the season just because it was going to be too much commitment on
Okay.
that side, and I wouldn't be able to focus or give the full attention. I'm very much 100% or no percent kind of guy. I think you'll tone to that where I'm either fully there, giving my all, or I'm not going to do it. And that's kind of how I felt with the hockey, where with the missus being pregnant and everything, I wouldn't be able to give that 120% to the team. And then I was like, if I'm not going to play at the very best, I'm not going to, because in hockey locally, we are quite a high level where it's sorry, the man flu is catching up with me. Where with the hockey, it's playing at quite a high level. I mean, it's I dare say if we to equate equate it to something like rugby, almost at like I'd say I'm at like a Curry Cup level,
Okay.
where I'm not making like provincial A team. I'd make B team, which is in essence what the Curry Cup is. It's not the URC team because we don't play Super Rugby anymore. But and then it would be URC and then national. So
Yeah, and
I'd say I'm at
then
a Curry
during
Cup
the
level.
yeah,
Yes.
all the main guys go and play for international, and then the other guys play the Curry Cup. Yeah.
Yeah, it's exactly. So that's the level I'd say I'm at. And I mean, I've played hockey with pretty much all the guys that are at the Olympics currently. Played with them through club, through provincial. Good friends with a couple of the guys. So
Yeah. Well, you're not going to make
quite a
it
big
next
thing.
season, let me tell you.
Oh, not a chance. Not a chance. But
Yeah,
yeah, so
because
that's
yeah, because you know what? Now I'll be honest with you. I've been a dad for a little bit longer than you have. Um, the sporting aspect of our lives does definitely take a decline. The fitness, that's where dad bods come from,
oh
because
yeah,
you're putting time and effort into your child, and
good sit with my chin
unfortunately
up.
your job as well. So, I mean, maybe if this takes off, we can quit our jobs and then spend more time with our family. You know,
Yeah, just
um,
spend 1 hour a day talking shit and then kick back and relax. If only it was that easy.
yeah, no, because I've definitely since moving here, the whole sport, going out, seeing friends, all of that has completely taken a dive. And you know, life generally takes up three aspects. So there's like work, family, and social, and you can only have two at a time. Um, so for me at the moment, it's work and family. Um, what I've started doing is posting a lot on YouTube, TikTok, so on, to try and fill out that extra gap, that social thing that I have. Um, I've going to be playing uh, indoor soccer tomorrow,
Okay,
so that should be
nice.
fun. I played about a year ago. Um, the guys in the area are all farmers, so when the sun is shining or when it's a nice day, they are working. But when it's cold and rainy, they want to play soccer. So that's essentially when there's like, yes, we will all play when it's rainy and the weather's bad. It's not, sorry, it's not completely indoor. It's like a net. So it's
Oh,
outdoor, but
okay, so it's
yeah. So
more
you
more
still get
just you
rained
don't have
on
to
and
fetch.
yeah. So, um, so yeah, that should be interesting. I bought some boots last season. Um, I used them once, and then the sun came out, and then they were all like, "Oh no, we're working now. We're not playing again until it starts raining." Um, so that was really irritating. But work, I've decided long ago that you've got to set limits on work. Um, Previous jobs, I would work into the late into the evening. If I would miss something, I would say, "Okay, well, let's kids and whatever done, and then late at night finish my work that I need to have finished." When I don't know about your industry, but my industry specifically is uh, not as urgent. Okay, so if you don't get something done today, you can do it tomorrow. It's not the end of the world. And it took some figuring out, but eventually I got that. Oh, I got to a point where I realized uh, I don't have to. Once the end of the day comes, I don't need to stay longer. Understandably, if a client wants to speak uh, half an hour or something, that's fine. But I try not to arrange meetings that late, so that for that specific reason. Um, so yeah, and what I've done now, which you may see on TikTok, is I'm attempting the 75 hard challenge. Have you ever heard of the 75
I
hard
haven't
challenge?
actually. I've seen your TikToks on it, and I have not a cooking clue what that is. So please actually tell me what that is.
Okay, so the 75 hard challenge is 75 days. Okay, the hardest part, no alcohol. You have to work out twice a day. One of those being outdoors. Okay. You have to drink 3 liters of water every single day. You have to pick a diet and stick to it for the full 75 days. And then there is one rule, which is you have to read 10 pages of a nonfiction book. Now, I'm
Ooh.
not doing the reading part. Um,
Ooh. I wouldn't
yeah.
either.
The reason I'm not doing the reading part is because I do a lot of reading during the day in terms of marketing updates and so on. So I'm just counting that. The outdoor exercise, what I am doing is I go for a run. So 45-minute run, which is generally 5Ks up and downhill around the back here. Um, and yeah, that's actually been quite nice because as work finishes, I get up and I leave and go on a run. And it helps me transition from work to home life, which is actually quite nice. And I've been filming the whole thing and uploading it to TikTok as a sort of accountability test. Because have a couple friends, you included, on TikTok who would say, "Hey, you missed a day. Now you need to start again." So
So is
to
that one of the
avoid that,
rules actually, where if you miss a day, you have to start again?
yes, yes. If
Oh
you miss
wow.
a day, or if you mess up your diet or something, you have to start again. Luckily, we are 22 days in, and I haven't missed a day. I haven't messed up the diet. Um, so I'm good. And I've definitely lost a lot of weight. But I do have a question. I feel like I have bloat or something. I'm bloated because I wake up in the morning and I'm very skinny. But then at the end of the day, I like have this big thing here. And I don't know how to, and I'm doing sit-ups and everything, and it's just not, it just feels like it's got a lot of pressure. Is
So
that
no,
something to do with my gut health?
bloat bloat's a bit of a fun thing where it's always talked about gut health and everything, but generally speaking, when you're healthy, you're gonna have it. So remember, your gut is filled with bacteria,
Okay.
and naturally, you need those bacteria, which is also why a lot of these weird self detoxes and drains and everything aren't always so well suggested because you're draining all the good bacteria. Because that bacteria actually breaks down the food further, so you mechanically break it down with your mouth. Your stomach has the acid which breaks it down. Then it's actually the bacteria in your gut that actually also aids in breaking it down further and even creating some of the nutrients that you require. And in doing that, you get the byproducts of gas. Obviously, it's why you pass a bit of gas during the day. Often you get a bit better at controlling it, and that's why you get a bit of bloat as well. So it's almost inevitable that you're gonna have a bit of bloat after certain meals, especially like your more carb heavy meals and that sort of thing. But carbs are like a building block to your diet. So it's definitely something I see a lot of diets nowadays where it's cutting that stuff out completely, and then people have horrendous things. I mean, carbs protects your muscles. That's why you see all the bodybuilders and all of that eating absolute mountains of rice because they one need the calories and because the carbs protect your protein from being broken down to make energy. But that's not a different track to bloating. But yeah, so there's a lot of weird little internet things you're gonna find about eat this to stop bloating, drink vinegar. Don't do that, please. Please don't drink vinegar.
No,
Maybe
I'm
we
not
need to
going
go
to do that.
back to high school. We need to go back to high school bio class and you can relearn what actually happens in the body when you eat or drink anything.
No, I'm not going to do that. I did for 2 months. I did the carnivore diet. Have you heard of that?
Is that's pretty much the one we pretty much just eat meat, if I'm
Only, yeah, yeah. You're
correct.
only allowed to eat meat or animal products. Um,
So no fruit, no veg, no
no.
carbs
And
or pastas.
let me tell you, it was it was difficult eating mince for breakfast, but I felt great. I had a lot of energy. I lost 4 kgs in like I think it was in a month. I lost 4 kgs. Um, but I couldn't keep it up. It was just I was missing pasta. I missed pasta and I missed there was some other stuff like oats in the morning. Couldn't I wanted that again. So
Good old oats.
eventually we gave up. But it was good for the first month. It was good, but then it just got monotonous. My dad has been doing it now for a while, and it's what a terrible life that must be. Jeez.
So that,
Yeah.
so that's the main problem with a lot of the diets nowadays. It's sure you see some results early on,
Mm.
which is why people do it. They want the instant gratification. They don't want to. I know a lot of the good personal trainers and that sort of thing out there that they tell their clients straight up, and the dietitians specifically. Well, they're the best at doing it, but you get some. Uh, I mentioned personal trainers because they're often the culprits of do this for a month and your problems will be solved. And then 2 months later, their client's 10 kgs heavier because they stopped the diet because they hated it. They stopped their workout regime because they hated it. And yeah, the carnivore diet's an example of one of those diets where it has great short-term benefits, but it's not a very sustainable thing. I think even financially, I can't even think how much meat I'd have to eat to be satisfied at the end of the day or feel full enough at the end of each meal. So I don't know if I'd financially be able to do that, at least not in South Africa. Ugh. At least I eat tuna
No,
every
no,
day. Ugh.
the meat in South Africa is actually expensive. Let me tell you, because over here we could afford it. It was we weren't buying vegetables and stuff, which is expensive here. So we saved on that side. But um, yeah, the meat. If I had South African meat, I think I would still be on the diet. The meat here is nowhere near anywhere that the class of meat or the taste at least of what you get in South Africa. Um, it's all Angus beef and it's just bland. Like
No brass passes, nothing.
even if I put all of that on, I can get it to taste kind of similar but not the same. You know, it's just like you
It's because
need
the
that
cows are
dirty
healthy.
grill. You need that dirty grill that you've been brying on for years and you haven't cleaned it. You've just let the flames clean it.
The occasional onion graces its surface occasionally
Yeah,
just to pretend like you're cleaning it, and actually,
yeah, and to make it
not
smell good.
really. Oh, no, that is a great smell.
Yeah.
Oh, but yeah.
Um. So tell me, Vincel, have you got much sleep in the last couple of weeks?
I tell you what,
And are
she's
you a
actually
good
been,
dad?
well, kind of hard to be judged when no one else is there. So I'm gonna say I'm a brilliant dad. Thank you very much.
Exactly. That's all you need to say. That's fine.
It does help that my company does do a formula, so I can get it at cost.
Oh,
Not that
okay.
I've been getting it at cost yet, but I have ordered. So yeah, I saved. How much did I save? So like $600 on 6 tins, roughly.
Wow. Okay.
So yeah, when you're buying individual tins, it doesn't make such a difference, but when you buy by the case, it adds up. So thankful for that. But yeah, so sleep, hey, it's not so bad now. I'm kind of getting used to that 3 hours, 4 hours of sleep in the evening. I mean, literally just before we got started here, I got it down at, call it 9:30 South Africa time, and then 5 minutes before we started this, you got woke up again. And that's kind of a pattern where she'll be awake till like 10, 11 on a good day, and then she'll be down until 4, 4. So I think we've got a good baby in that sense. She's well behaved. Definitely must be me, my child. But
Oh, brother. Oh, brother. Oh, for now,
for
let me tell you, for
now,
now. Oh, it goes through, it's like a roller coaster. Like you'll have like periods where it's like, oh, well, do we even have a child? And then it's like,
yeah, because
it's all
we,
worth it. It's all worth it, I suppose.
yeah, we're 2 months, or 2 months and some odd days, 2 months and a week, something like that. First month was tough because obviously we as men only get, I think in South Africa it's legally 10 days of paternity leave.
You got
I
10
didn't
days.
I didn't take 10 days because I would have only got paid 35%
Oh,
bloody
wow.
the salary, and then you claim the rest back UIF, but they're going to pay in a year's time or something.
Yeah, it's
So there's no way
ridiculous.
I was going to survive on 2 weeks worth of 35% pay. Not a chance. But anyway, so then obviously now you got a 3 week old baby that is crying for 101 different reasons. Slightly too cold, slightly too warm, is hungry, does it need a nap change. So that was a big shift, but it has calmed down now. But I mean, there's still the odd evening where she'll be 6 o'clock till like 2, 3 in the morning, where it gets to that cliche of the baby's overtired, it's too tired to sleep. It doesn't make sense,
Overtime.
but overtired, and then they're too irritable, and every breath they take is too much for them, and they just cry non-stop. But we haven't had too much of that, so touch on wood.
It's kind of like you with man flu.
Exactly. A little bit of an itchy throat, and I think I'm dying. Like
Yeah.
having to drink water now because it's flipping. Ugh. But I
Yeah,
mean, that brings us.
we had this stuff. I can't remember the actual name. It was an Afrikaans name, but it was basically like cough drops. It was like a white cream. I must try and remember the name. It was for colic. But you used it for whatever reason. And it was especially when teething comes around,
Not
just
gripe
get
water.
yourself some of that. It's like magic. What was it called? It
It's
was
probably
called like
gripe water, but
no, it wasn't
the
gripe water.
the
It was the
Afrikaans
whites.
branded
Yeah.
one.
Uh,
The
I
is it the one with the drops?
think, Behutmiddels.
Yes, yeah.
Obviously, I've got someone listening to the podcast outside. Yeah.
uh, yay, a
Uh,
listener.
yes, we've got our first listener. Yeah, you can get them at clicks. These things are magic. Scarlett loved this stuff.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
hopefully I'll definitely have to go. But that, yeah, that brings me back to the whole like balance, work-life balance, finding time for everything. A is hard. So then obviously now with my work being very difference. I am, in essence, the Google ad going door to door, physically
Okay.
trying to advertise my products. Because that's what we do. I go, door to door to all the doctors, pharmacies, the big clicks and
Do you have
dischems.
like a certain region that you have to do, or
Yes,
okay?
yeah. So because our brand's quite big, we're the second biggest market share in the diabetes machines in the country. I think we're sitting at like 31% market share in the country, so pretty big. So we have three reps in the province. I see from So for all the listeners, you'll have to Google this in South Africa. I see from Sydenham all the way to Newcastle, and that's Newcastle, northern KwaZulu-Natal, not Newcastle in the UK. Let's not get that
So
mixed
you
up.
have to travel to Newcastle.
Yeah, so I go to Newcastle for, well, we call it the Newcastle trip, but technically I'll see Ladysmith, Dundee, Vryheid, and Newcastle in a week. So I'll spend one day in Ladysmith, one day Dundee, one day Vryheid, 2 days in Newcastle often. Sometimes I do Dundee Vryheid in one day because they're small little towns, two pharmacies maybe, a couple doctors. Not so bad.
And do you go to Newcastle and back in the day in like, or do you stay at places?
So thankfully the company, well, I mean, I wouldn't do it if the company didn't pay, but no, the company puts us up in, uh, the company works with a travel, I forget the correct word, travel
Travel agency?
agents, travel agency. That's the one, thank you. Yeah, work with a travel agency and they book a B&B that we stay in. So we stay a very nice B&B. I can't complain about that. And it's paid for, so I can't complain about that either. I don't have to pay for it. So yeah, we get put up for however many nights we need. So if I say I want to do 3 days or 3 nights, they pay, stay there for 3 nights, come back home afterwards. So it's not too bad. It wasn't hard at first, but I haven't done one of those trips since having my child now.
Mm.
So it's going to be a bit more of an interesting one. Getting the missus to hold the fort down while I'm away. So that's going to be a new interesting challenge for everyone. But yeah, so hopefully it's not too bad. But yeah, it's hard to find that balance of. If I'm dead honest right now, I got no balance. Come home from work and it's just trying to adapt. Come home, wash dishes, make dinner, entertain the baby. Oh, wake up again at work the next day. Oh, yeah. Still trying to find my balance.
Yeah, well, look, the best thing that you can do is probably go to therapy. But the second best thing you could do is chat on this podcast and air out all of your issues. The best thing is to talk about it. So, um, but you know what? Because we need to essentially feed the algorithm, uh, the Olympics opening ceremony completely
Oh.
180 here just for the last couple minutes. Um, what do you think about it? What were your thoughts did you watch it? By the way, I didn't watch it. I just saw the
So
highlights.
yeah, I'm on the same boat as you. I unfortunately didn't have a platform to watch the actual ceremony in full, so I've also kind of just caught all the all the big platforms snippets. Obviously, they always highlight the
Although
most
that being
interesting
said, I
parts.
don't think I've watched an opening ceremony since like 2008. So
No, I used to watch that stuff religiously.
really,
Oh
wow.
yeah, all those sort of big events, like the even the not Olympics, like the Royal Variety Show come Christmas time, all those kind of big things. Religiously watch that. So yeah, it's probably the first time I haven't actually watched the
Oh
full
wow, okay.
opening ceremony. I
And
mean,
you've seen the controversy about it.
oh, there's all sorts of stuff, but I mean, there's some cool stuff too. I mean, they had Snoop Dogg carrying out the flippin' flame at a stretch, and he did his little jive, and I was like, oh my, what the hell is this? The Snoop Dogg an athlete now? I know he had that one series where he was like a coach of like a youth football team or something. So maybe that's how he got involved
He
in it.
was
Or
actually a commentator, him and Kevin Hart on the last Olympics.
oh really? Oh
Yeah.
yes, yes. But it was that was more of like a satirical commentary. That wasn't
Yes, yeah,
really.
but it blew up, and that's pretty much how he got this gig. So I can assume he's going to be in the next one as well. Um,
That's actually
but
the best way to watch Olympics.
yeah, I thought it was pretty. It was definitely a spectacle. Um, the the news going around that they insulted the Last Supper. Um, that's the statement that they put out a statement that it wasn't actually related. Um, and I think it spread like wildfire because news articles wrote headlines about it, and people didn't read the article. They just shared the headline in outrage. You know how the internet works.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
nothing like some good clickbait.
exactly. So it got a regardless though the whole river being in its state, the Seine River, you can't swim in it, and I don't think any country has ever made a profit from an Olympics. So it's always going to have negative around it. So with that already coming into it being a negative, with the internet sharing all their negative thoughts on it, I thought it was pretty spectacular. I thought it was a spectacle. Definitely had. It was nice how they came in on the water, the boats on the water. Um,
The horse was one clip that I saw. The mechanical
yes,
horse
yeah,
kind of riding in, kind of a nod to well a couple things, but I know there's also the one character is a nod to Assassin's Creed,
yes, yes,
one of the flame bearers, if that's the correct term for what they are. The
yeah.
flame bearers was
It
a
was, yeah, it was Assassin's Creed because I think wasn't the movie shot.
no, so
Um,
it's not the movie. The creator of Assassin's Creed is French,
oh right, okay.
or at least
Well, it was a
that's the
very.
TikTok I saw. Someone fact check
Well,
me,
it must
please.
be truth. Yeah, it must be truth. But no, definitely it was definitely French. There was a lot of French
That's about
related.
as much as I can say.
Yeah,
It
there's a
was
lot of.
very French.
It was very French.
It was
Um,
very French.
but
But
yeah,
there's
and it,
already
go.
there's already I don't know if you saw now. This is going back to the dark side. Makes me feel at home actually. Like maybe this could be in Durban CBD or maybe Joburg CBD. But there's already been a whole bunch of teams where they've had their stuff stolen, broken into. I
Yes.
mean the big ones, the Australian, I think it was the BMX team, where they had their van broken into. Thankfully, none of their bikes were stolen, but then they found all their gear just a little bit down the road, just kind of lobbed out everywhere, and they apparently ate all their chocolates. Very thoughtful.
You think it was tourists, or do you think it was the French?
Oh no, it's definitely not tourists. The French are a little bit notorious for also having a little bit of uh, crime issues. Maybe not quite to South Africa's extent.
Yeah.
We kind of the kings of that title, but at least from the little I know of the country, it is not as great as it's sometimes made to be seen, made to be portrayed. Also, from a lot of friends that have been recently on like Contikis and that sort of thing, they always seem to I don't want to say not have enjoyed France, but it definitely wasn't on their highlight
Mm.
list, if I could put it
Well,
that way.
have you ever heard of Paris syndrome?
No,
So there is it's a documented thing that happens to mainly to Asian tourists, people who come from China and Japan, because the way that Paris is displayed in movies, right? It's a spectacle. When they go to see the Eiffel Tower, they actually leave with depression because they built it up in their minds to be such a fantastic, magical place. Whereas when they get there, they are let down or disappointed, and it actually causes them grief. And when they head back home, they actually have a form of uh, what's the word?
depression.
Depression. Depression. Yeah, so that's so I totally understand. Um, but it's just around the corner for me. So as soon as I get a visa, I can go and let you know firsthand what it's like.
Yeah, that can be podcast number 23. Uh, Terrence's French updates. You can do it from your B&B overlooking the Eiffel Tower.
Exactly, exactly that. Actually, can you imagine that backdrop?
That would that would definitely put my grey curtain to shame. Actually, but what you can't see out of this window because it's night time is there's some lions just over
Yes,
here.
lions
If you wanna, for all our international viewers, yeah, I got some
and
lions in my backyard.
and the elephants in the front yard. That's
Yeah,
how
and
you
his
get to
name is
work. That's how you get to Newcastle on a
yeah. It's a
buffalo.
bit of a slow trek, but it's safe at least. Nothing's gonna take me on my big old elephant. But yeah, so
Wenzel, it's been great chatting with you today. Um, I think this was a good episode, and I'll definitely see you next week, same time.
same
Um,
time.
if someone wanted to follow you, where can they find you?
Don't follow me,
Insta-
please.
don't
Leave
follow
me
you.
alone.
Instagram, TikTok,
No, I'm
nothing.
kidding. No, Instagram Vince_Gordon, WENT. Don't let the pronunciation of the V fool you. It's Afrikaans, even though I'm not Afrikaans. And TikTok, I think it's also Vince_Gordon. I'd have to double check, but
Well, it will be in the description.
it'll
So
be in the description. You can see me posting horrible TikToks. Actually have to restart posting TikToks. I think I started in COVID,
yeah, we
and
all
then
did.
I just turned into a doom scrolling kind of platform for me, so I gave up on posting on it. Although I still do post on Instagram, so definitely follow the Instagram if you'd like. But we'll have to kickstart the TikTok again. Maybe I'll have to do the 75 hard challenge as well.
I dare you. I actually challenged Jason to it, and he wasn't interested. He just
My
ignored it
guy,
completely.
my
So
guy.
I'm drinking his whiskey.
Oh, do you still have his whiskey?
I still have his whiskey, yes.
Did you even? Does he know you still have his whiskey?
He came to visit me, and he didn't take it back with him.
I said actually. I think I have whiskey in my thing. We should have done a little toast here. We're like, hey, here's your whiskey, you dumbass.
We will do that after my 75 hard challenge. Um, and we can get him on as a guest sometime as well if we want. But guys, thank you so much for watching, and please subscribe to this channel and all the links in the description. We will see you next week. Pencil?
Woo! No, thanks very much, Terrence.